We are back 2 weeks in a row. We're back. Guess who's back? Back again.
Katie's back.
Tell your friends, share, like, and subscribe. Woo! Good afternoon, Reverend Tony. How the dickens are you, darling?
I'm very well, sir. Very well. All good. All good.
I guess, Paul, hi, Nick and Tony. How are you guys today? Buzzing one's boobies off by the looks of it.
Yes, we are. Just a bit.
Oh, so Tony, how you been, sir? What you been up to?
Oh gosh, we were at Stop the Hate conference on Monday, and yeah, just general spiritual stuff, Rainbow Project stuff, and then we've come to the caravan with mum-in-law.
All right.
So yes, all good. How about yourself, sir?
Busy. Had a demo last night. I double demoed with the lovely Linda Rose in Littleport. We had a cancellation, so I said, "Well, I'll step in." And then the lovely Linda, she turned up and said, "Well, I'll go on there with you if you want." And so we did a double demo. And then, of course, drum roll, please. Tomorrow night, Littleport Village Hall becomes the hotbed of activity for the SPTV demo that we're hosting. So that's really, really exciting. I am so looking forward to it.
I still wish I could get down for that.
I know. I do know that the trance part will be recorded on an infrared camera, so I know that at the very least that will be broadcast. I'm sure that there will be other parts of it broadcast, probably not live, but if it is, obviously the messages will only be for those in the room, like we do on a Thursday in Liverpool anyway. Yeah. But I know that it will be recorded, so you will be able to see us all going nuts and having fun and painting the town red. Minty has said that he's due to arrive this evening, so he's staying over for a couple of days. I'll be going and collecting Glenda in the morning from her stint at Stansted Hall. She's buzzing. I was having a chat with her earlier. So, you know, it's going to be great. And David Hale's coming, Bill Hughes is coming. And I know everyone's looking forward to actually putting a face to the voice of Mr. Richards, Mr. Producer, sir. So, yeah, that's going to be a long day. And, of course, then I've got the workshop the next morning as well. So I might be buzzing right now, but I'm going to be cream crackered by this time on Sunday. But I love it. I love it. And, of course, I've been doing a bit of writing as well. So keeping myself out of mischief, I think, is the honest truth.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Well, the comments are filling up nicely already. They
are. So let's say some hellos. Yes. And of course, she technically it was a false start because she was out the track before the starting pistol. But hello, Nick and Tony. Not long to go now. Good morning to you, darling. And it's nice to have, of course, all the comments back in one place.
Yes, that is so good. So
makes a difference. So good afternoon to Tony.
There he is. Yes, good afternoon. Kazar, hello.
Hello, Kazar, who is in the house. And Christine Davis, good afternoon to you.
Yes. Jen, good afternoon. Nice to see you back.
Hello, sweetie.
And Mummy Brown.
Hi, Mother. And then, obviously, we said hello to Paul earlier, briefly by the comment, but hello to Paul. And, of course, the lovely Joanne Lewis.
Ron Patrick and Eunice Spinks. Hello, everybody.
Hello to you guys. And, of course, we are watching, which means that Tony will be there as the other, the non-reverend
non-rev Tony.
The non-rev Tony. Where are we? There we are. Yes, it is hot enough. Thanks, Mother.
Yeah.
But a little bit cooler up here than it is in her conservatory, I'll tell you.
Oh gosh, it's not too bad here today. We've had sea fret until about an hour ago, and then it seems to have cleared off, burned off. So
Yes,
yeah, it's starting to climb now, the temperature.
absolutely.
As I was speaking to your TV wife.
That would be Glenda.
Yes.
Glenda is my online missus. The thing is, I've technically got two TV wives. Obviously, Dawn Collinson Quarry was my first TV wife, and then obviously I committed bigamy and had a second wife in Glenda. The irony is, they are both together on the workshop at Stansted Hall this week. The wives have got together.
No, that's never a good combination.
I know. Brilliant, though. Absolutely brilliant.
Paul and Luke are still in Gran Canaria. Not jealous at all.
Absolutely, although it's probably the same temperature. Joanne says, yes, I've met Mr. Producer. Yeah. I said, we're a very exclusive bunch that have actually seen the face, haven't we? But that'll change tomorrow. There'll be at least 80 more people seeing his face tomorrow that haven't before. Look at that. Cherry Ann, my two favorite.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, mon petit femme. Or as they would say where you were born. You're right, love. Sarah Moore, hello.
Hello, dear. Hello, Justin Molyneux. And
Justin.
Yes, Tim. Yes, Tim, we can see you.
Hello, Tim. Not long now either, mate. Less than a month.
Yeah.
Later. Where we got? Little bit of business going on as well. That's the fun of it, isn't it? Tony, I've booked you for the 25th of July 2024. So there you go. You're not getting much of a choice in the subject by the looks.
No. Well, we did say the same week, but 20.
Which means, it is. So yeah, 25th, 24.
I hope that's not a confirmation yet, Linda, because
No, that would be the penciling in. That would be the penciling in. Sarah says she's melting. Yeah, I know the feeling, darling. Trust me, I really, really do.
Yeah.
It is the man we were talking of himself, Minty May. Hello, young man.
Hello, sir.
In 24 hours, we will be meeting up and having some dinner and getting ready to do the Work of Spirit. Looking forward to it.
Fabulous.
And of course, just like Minty, please don't forget to share.
Yes, it helps. Hello, Joni. And Dawny says that's just greedy. I think that's having two wives.
The wives, yeah. The Wives of Nick Brown. That sounds like a good book, actually. The Wives of Nick Brown.
Doesn't it? I'd read it.
Especially considering the two wives are down in Stansted Hall talking to discarnate beings, and the husband of Nick Brown is on his way back from Birmingham,
Whatever floats your boat, Nick, if it keeps
you absolutely. And there we are. Hello,
everybody at the Rainbow Project. And Jacqueline Mangley, it's nice to see you too, my dear.
It's good to see you and welcome. Breakfast on Friday again. Yum. Yeah, absolutely. For those that don't know, when Tony comes to serve our church, because it's a blinking long way, Tony stays over and we all get together and have breakfast the next morning and occasionally have our photos taken with the Spiritline t-shirts on. Which, as everyone turns up in it, it's like you suddenly become really self-conscious.
Yes.
That there is like 10 t-shirts with your face on it.
It was a little bit, walking in and seeing everybody sat there was a little bit like, Oh God, this is a bit weird. This is a bit weird.
Absolutely.
Oh, Michael logged in as the wrong account.
I kind of guessed that much, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then Chrissy Wheatley's in the house. Good to see you.
Yes.
Welcome.
Sarah, you've never seen us before. Oh, Sarah, you're in for a treat, dear.
How's that song go without us getting off the air? You ain't seen nothing yet. Baby, yeah, ain't seen nothing yet. We do go a bit nuts, I have to admit.
We do. Oh,
but I tell you what else is tradition, yes.
Yeah.
The colour of the nails.
Yes. 50p from Primark.
Oh, fantastic. And there I thought it was going to be something. Peach Melba. That's what it reminds me. Peach Melba.
Oh, yes, Paul. That's on Signs of the Afterlife, isn't it? Paul and Luke are doing their first dem.
Oh, wow. Signs of the Afterlife. Brilliant. Good luck, my lovelies. Good luck. I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. Oh, hang on. I'm getting in trouble already. The microphone is rubbing. Let me hang it up there. I just look like I've got a really old-fashioned hearing aid in.
Joni has a medium question.
Absolutely.
Is that opposed to a large question?
Bless you.
Oh,
we really are in that kind of frame of mind today, I think.
We are.
But yes,
silly
Joni, absolutely. But Joni, absolutely. This is your show, so ask any. You don't need permission to ask questions. Just ask. Fire away. We know Tim's on, so get in quick because he'll certainly have a few of his own. But then at some point in the not too distant future, we will be able to get our own back.
Yes, yes, we will. Ha ha.
Looking forward to that.
Chrissy can't get to Littleport tomorrow, Nick.
Sorry. Oh, bless you. Sorry about that, darling. You know, I didn't think that the trains were striking from Hitchin. I always remember being a Hitchin stop on the King's Lynn train, and that's not cross country, you see. But that's transport for you, my darling. But I'm sure there'll be a copy of it drifting around the interweb at some point, my love. So don't worry. Don't worry.
Kaz has got me a little confused. She says she's got a question, bear with, and then says, in fact, I'll screenshot the convo to you, Nick, your views.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I've got to get my phone and have a look at them because, right, bear with. We'll see. Rather intriguing, of course. I will have my phone ready for the screenshots when it comes through. Let me clear all my junk out the way so I only get one notification. But yes, there's a...
Carol Phillips, I've just read.
Hello, boys. Can't wait for tomorrow night. Lucky I'm still here. So hot and sweaty today. Sat on the loo and slid so quickly. Thought I was going to end up in the hallway. Oh, bless you, darling. Oh dear.
Wow. Hilarious.
Oh, wow. Bless you. But yeah, do ask questions. I will star them as I see them so we can talk and come back. Oh, Chrissy, yeah. £108 for a taxi. Yeah,
That's a bit. Yeah.
I know that the train fares are a little bit steep, but £108 for a taxi. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That's a little bit.
I mean, Biggleswade to I think it's Biggleswade or somewhere similar to Littleport is a heck of a journey.
Yeah,
it's a heck of a journey.
Michael asked where. I don't know what. Where?
I think talking about about coming tomorrow. That's yeah. Apparently, I look like a teapot with my,
your little handle. Yeah.
With my little. Well, here's my handle and here's my stuff. You knew that was coming.
Yeah. Signs of the Afterlife, 8 p.m. next Friday, Paul.
Ah, fantastic! Signs of the Afterlife. Yeah,
I shall be
looking
watching.
forward to it.
I shall be
We
watching.
will give you a plug next week as well.
Of course we will.
And share the link to it into facebook.com/groups/continue the debate, or Two Revs for the continue the debate page.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there.
Yeah.
So there keeps jumping again. Isn't there buses to Littleport? Yes, there is, but not from that direction.
No.
It's quite a. It is, to be fair, quite a trek.
Oh, of course. Michael's asking where the demonstration was going to be. Yes,
with Paul and Luke. Absolutely, we get there in the end.
We do. I'm on go slow today.
It's fine. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. So yeah. I've got the
yeah. If we do Kaz's and then Joni's, and I want to know what your mum's doing, slipping on coke.
Yeah, she opened a can and it exploded just before we were about to be.
Yeah,
it has been happening a lot lately, and Carol's one of the reasons for making me do it. She's been having some fun at my expense, but that was hilarious actually. Well, Carol's in a circle that I run online on a Monday at 2, and we were having a bit of a giggle. I say a bit; it was hilarious actually. So,
well, there you go.
The Kaza question. I've had this myself before. Kaza wants to know about the opinion of the message. And this is how it goes. I worry about you, my friend. Why? You are getting sucked into the occult life through the medium stuff. Psychics, etc. The single eye is a sign of the devil. This is where our beliefs differ. Yes, I know. But just so you know, the messages are not coming from God. Like I said, I'm worried about you. You have your reasons, and I get that for sure. Okay, no worries. I take on board what you've said for sure. To me, it's a sign of protection. So, Kaza has had a tattoo of it's not technically the Eye of Horus, although it is. It's the all-seeing eye that she's got, I believe. Although, same difference, really. On the grand scheme of things, the all-seeing eye, the Eye of Horus. The thing is, the all-seeing eye, which I believe, and you can confirm or deny, Kaza, I can't quite remember. I remember seeing the tattoo. I saw the triangle, and that's what makes me think it's an all-seeing eye, which would be the Masonic symbol, the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Is certainly absolutely not a devil worshipping group. They are quite highbrow, based on a certain level of Christianity, and is not the devil worshipping that people make them out to be, or indeed us as spiritualists. And the all-seeing eye, and then trump across to, as Michael pointed out, the Eye of Horus, is a completely different religion.
Yep. Horus is god of the sky.
Exactly. And it really, really, how people like to get really, really grumpy. Right, I'm really going to get on my, this gets on my titties, and I'm really going to get on my high horse now. How people can criticize people for not being in their religion because their religion is the only way, but then decide to mishmash a load of other different religions into their own and shoehorn it in as an excuse to have a go at people is not religion. It is bigotry. It is arrogance. It's showing a sheer ignorance. And there is a crossover. Dawny says, it's funny how people see spiritualism as a cult. It frustrates me so much. This is a conversation I've had this week with someone else as well. A cult and occult are two very, pardon me for my pronunciation, the word that was used in that string of messages was occult rather than a cult. There is nothing evil or dangerous about the occult. One of the things that I gob off about a lot, and especially when it comes to this way of life, is understanding the meaning of words. And people who are uninitiated or have never heard it before throw the word occult around, and that's O-double-C, not C. Throw the word occult around like it's an insult. It literally means the unknown. It's all occult means. And it really, 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 as my grandfather would say, twists my backside round and up the other side. She said, quote, it's not interpretation, comes right out of the Bible. No, it is an interpretation of one particular story in the Bible. She's probably talking among many other, because it's various different locations. But my favorite one about summoning the dead and necromancy and witchcraft is the story of Saul. And I am going to give you a little brief journey on this one, because I think it's important to know what we're having thrown at us. Saul made it illegal to visit those with quote unquote familiar spirits, guides. So he made it illegal to go and see a medium because he knew that he had fallen out of favor with God. And so he ended up needing some guidance and advice. So ended up going to see the only one that was still practicing. And that was, in the original language, the Woman of Endor. But thanks to King James, it became the Witch of Endor. Very useful when you're trying to do the witch trials. So that's another one that grinds my gears. But yeah, he went to see her and was told, you're out of favor, you're going down, mate. And there are those that will interpret that as meaning because he broke the law of God by visiting a medium, that's why mediumship is evil. No, in actual fact, it was him that made it illegal because he was trying to hide the fact that God didn't want him in the position anymore.
No, God wanted rid.
God wanted rid. And in actual fact, God wanted David. And Saul wasn't happy with David because he was very friendly with his son anyway. But that's another story for another day and another. Yes. But people use scripture and biblical tales to make excuses for their own ends, especially when they are stealing from other religions. And for me, what it means, quite frankly, is that if you have to take something from another religion and call it devil worship, then you really don't understand your own religion. You really don't understand that there is no devil, only in the detail, and that Satan does not want to eat us for breakfast. I believe in an all-loving, all-creating, wondrous, focused on love God. And for him or it or she or they or whatever you want to call it, to throw us into the pit for being misled, I think is certainly not forgiving, unconditional love or anything like that. And I just hate the fact that people like to, quite frankly, bastardize other religions to make theirs look the only one. It's not for me. I used to say I was a spiritualist, then I used to say I was a Christian spiritualist. Truth is, I don't really know what I am anymore. And the fact is, I don't care. I just do what I do, see what I see, feel what I feel, share what I share. And frankly, I don't care about giving myself a label anymore. Because the relationship with spirit is personal. So we all have our own personal religion as far as I'm concerned. And if people want to twist the truth to make them feel better about themselves, trust me, they are not going to get their reward in heaven for telling you that you're worshipping evil. They will get ticking off for that. And yeah, Paul, the first and foremost, we're a human being, start and end. Everything else is a bonus. I agree, mate.
It is. And I mean, I just want to highlight Carol's point that it's up to them what they believe, and they shouldn't berate you for believing what you believe. If they feel they've got to vocalize their opinion, the least they should do is do it respectfully and basically not tell you you're worshipping evil. Just say, well, we agree to disagree, which is what Kazza actually did.
Yeah, I did good. I could have gotten into an argument
really well because I would have lost it. I'm sorry, I would have lost it.
But I've had that so many times. I mean, even this week, I posted an advert about the church on Facebook, and instantly someone local made a witty comment about tell me something about myself. Just shows they don't actually understand spiritualism, because my job isn't to tell you about you, it's to tell you about somebody else. And some of the jokes are quite funny, like, oh, you're a medium, I thought you were an extra large. And, you know, I love that. You know, I think it's a bit of fun, and you should never take yourself too seriously. But what really does twist me round is when people try and steal from several religions to use it as an excuse to validate their own, when they are certainly not listening to the truth of that particular way of life. I consider myself in many ways a Christian spiritualist, so I have a great deal of respect for Christianity. But what I just read was not Christianity. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Not at all.
And you're very welcome too, darling.
Yes. Yeah. I just did that tone. I would have. Yeah. That's the thing, Kazza. Don't bring your energy down.
Yeah.
I've always said, if you start lowering your energy and getting into negative energy,
you
just end up into a cycle, and you can't do that. You just got to rise above, keep your energy up, smile and say, thank you very much for your opinion. Next time I want it, I'll kick your kennel.
I'm always reminded in situations like this of the time I had a visit from two Kingdom Hall advocates at my door, and obviously it was a Thursday and I was getting ready for church, and I've got my collar. They got really excited, and then they found out I was a Christian spiritualist. That didn't go too well. So they were talking about and we still engaged in conversation, and they were talking about God this and God that. And I said, well, I believe that everyone's got an element of the truth in their religions. It's just how we interpret it that's different. Oh, you really don't understand what you're talking about, one of them said. And I said, well, take for a moment, let's imagine for a second that God is a tree. God is not a tree. Rah, 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 rah. I said, no. I said, let's imagine. I'm telling you a parable. I know you know what that means. So I then said, pretend that God is a tree. If you take people into a forest from different cultures and different languages and say, what's that? They'll all say something different. And that's how I perceive religion. God is not a tree. Rah, 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 rah. Expletive, 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 went storming off. The other lady stood there and smiled and looked thoughtfully and said, that's actually very interesting. Thank you for that. Looks over her shoulder and said, unfortunately, some tree roots go far too deep. See you another day. And off she popped. And that, because I kept my cool in that situation, it led to a good conversation. And a really lovely conversation that I can now draw reference to, which is actually why I'm also very proud of Kazza. Because you're absolutely right. You would have been. And the fact that you didn't is absolutely brilliant. And the love's coming through for you. Everyone's proud of you, my darling. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Day for night.
Behave, darling. But you're right. God is a tree and is and within everything.
Yes.
Hello to Alison. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. And then Daniel's here.
Daniel.
Hello, Daniel. Answer Chrissy's question, then we'll go back to this first question that we were given.
Yes.
It is actually fundraise once all costs are covered, because it's costing a fair bit. Any extra will go towards keeping the doors open at Littleport, which is it's nice, really. So it's not quite the ISA, but it is part of. So it's going to help keep Littleport going. Now I start a comment, and Joni Gibson, I've been getting premonitions lately as if there were a vortex opening, as if I'm supposed to enter it, but I never do out of fear. What do you suppose is happening? Really good question.
That's an excellent question. For me, it feels like there's a spiritual awakening happening around you.
Yes.
And it's the doorway opening up and them saying, do you want to step through? That's up to you. I can understand why there's fear, because I've had similar myself, and it is scary. It is scary, but it's an interesting ride if you choose to get on board. But that's, for me, what I feel that means for me, because I always see a portal, or not a portal, I mean, that comes up all sorts of Ouija board type things. But no, what I mean is an opening, a vortex, and it's an invitation to step through to a new start, a new beginning, a new journey.
Yes, I absolutely agree, but I will also add to that. People fear things like vortexes and indeed portals and any kind of spiritual opening. And people do fear it. And I really am one to, understand that. I had a nervous breakdown when I was 14 and my spirit communication was kicking in. So I get it, how fearful it can be. But just remember that even though you feel like you're being drawn to go through it, an opening is two-way. And it may well be that, certainly when people do guided meditations, when people go and see all the wondrous things in the world of spirit, they feel like they want to stay there because it's peaceful, it's lovely, it's nice, it's that connection with the divine source. So we feel drawn to remain, which is why you should always have someone around to wake you up if you nod off or pull you back when you go too far. Not that anything bad will ever happen, but you will have a rotten stinking headache when you come back if you don't. But a portal, a vortex, an entranceway is two-way. And it could be that you are detecting what is beyond that and feeling drawn to it. But because of the fear, nothing's quite happening yet. If you have faith in yourself and your strengths and your personal courage and convictions, if you lose the fear, someone may well come through. And that may very well be why it keeps happening. 3 and 4 a.m. Yes, that's my time. That's when I'm at my most joyous. Absolutely most joyous, because the world around me is asleep. And that's where I'm most, at my peace. But yeah, it could well be that somebody wants to come through. And you did come up with a reply. So are you saying I must ground myself? It depends what you mean by ground yourself from my perspective. And Tony knows it's a get on your high horse day. It depends what you mean by grounding. If you mean connect with the energy, if you mean open yourself up to spirit, then yes. Some people use grounding to anchor you down, but if you're trying to raise your vibrations, that's not exactly going to work for you. But certainly raise your protections, create your connection with spirit. Some of the people that I work with in Circle and various other different places like to anchor themselves not to the physical earth, but link their energies with the Mother Earth and with nature and stay grounded that way. But really all it is, it's about asking for protection, asking for help, and then seeing where it takes you. However, I do say, proud of Carol as well today, just proud of my guys. Do it with someone else there and ask for protection from your guides and Archangel Michael, and you will be fine. Couldn't agree more. Have someone there with you, can guide you. Go to a spiritualist church, find an open circle. Go to an online one if you've heard good things about them. And just explore it. But yeah, I'm with Tony. I don't see anything negative in that. It is just that fear of occult unknown. It's the fear of the unknown. It is very, very heavy. So I hope that helps you, Joni. Brilliant. Excellent. We have done our bit.
Absolutely.
I'm not one for personal promotion, but as somebody else has said it, buy Nick's CD. That will help you. It's available on YouTube. You can listen to it. Swimming in the Power is a good one. I do like that one. What have I missed though? Because I've been jumping about. Tony.
Yes.
Donna Bennett.
Yes.
The
lovely Donna. Yes.
The joys of being a non-believer means that I can appreciate other points of view on religion. I love talking about it because I find it extremely interesting. But I do find the whole "we don't believe in Halloween" from Christians a little bit odd, especially considering it's All Saints Day or All Hallowed Eve. Is where the actual name Halloween comes from. And actually, the whole mystique about it being a stolen festival isn't actually entirely true either. There is an element of it because it falls on the same day, but the whole idea of Halloween and the dressing up isn't stolen from various different other cultures. It was from it started in a completely, I think it was somewhere out in the Middle Eastern areas, about dressing up as spooky things to scare the other ones away. And it is just a bit of fun for kids as well. But yeah, I'm with you, Donna. I really, really am.
Me too. I don't get it. But I love to talk, even as a believer and somebody of faith. I still like to talk to other people with other points of view.
Yes.
Welcome. Just because it's always good to keep your mind open and to have conversation with people like we're having now, because you never know.
So even my mum, notices and learns things. That I was told 3 a.m. is the witching hour, and it's allegedly where the veil is at its thinnest.
Yes.
And although I say that very tongue in cheek, the irony is it's also that time of day when the fewest people are awake as possible in your locale, which means the world is going to be quieter, which means the noise is going to be less. So the veil very much is thinner. So
absolutely.
And Eunice as well, absolutely good point. How about asking what they want to show you? They may just shove something through. If you're very, very lucky, it might be that royal person had a rose, a port, after they'd lost their husband. I can't remember which one. Somebody in the chat might remember this. There was somebody, they'd lost their husband. They were talking about them, and suddenly there was this gentle plopping sound, and a freshly cut rose, still covered in morning dew, had suddenly appeared on the chair beside them. You never know; these things may happen. If anyone can remember who that is, please remind me, because I'm at a loss.
Wow, there's a lot of chat going on. My
There
TV
is.
standby light flickers at 3 a.m. when I feel spirit wanting to connect. I acknowledge them and then it stops. Dawny.
Yeah, and it is about acknowledgement. Everything is about acknowledgement, isn't it, Tony? Whenever people call me in to do a clearance, 9 times out of 10 they're just being grumpy because you're not listening. We're all a little bit like that, really, in our earthly lives. If we try and get your attention and you're ignoring us, we get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, and then start throwing things at you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a really, really interesting question, actually, and it's a really interesting topic. But yeah, I would say that there's some great advice in the comments.
Absolutely.
And
Andrea, lovely, thank you.
We all help each other, especially Open Circle Fridays. I'm pretty new at opening to spirit, even though on committee for 10 years. Got brilliant medium helpers. We'll pass on to members to check you guys. Oh, bless you. Thank you, darling.
I used to go to Brearley Church. Not been for quite a long time, but it's a lovely church. It really is. Really is a lovely church.
Wow.
And yeah, we're not that far. Like Michael said, we're not far from Brearley. It's only a short drive. It's lovely. Really nice.
Well, the only Brearley I know is, and this is going to show my age, Amos Brearley.
Oh,
the original landlord of the Woolpack Inn. I don't know whether there's some connection to the town of Brearley when they were writing it. You never know. There's always some kind of link in somewhere.
Yeah. And my sister's just popped on.
Hello.
Hello, Lisa. Are you all right, my dear?
Nay, Mr. Wilkes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Wilkes.
Mr.
Yes, thank you, Cherry Ann, for correcting me. It wasn't called Emmerdale then, it was called Emmerdale.
It was.
But here's a bonus question for you all. It might be called a village of Emmerdale now, but what was it originally called before the plane crash?
Oh.
They renamed the village after the farm, after the plane crash. But what was the village of Emmerdale originally called?
Oh, now you've got me. Oh. Oh.
And Mr. Wilkes, yes, it was Henry Wilkes.
It was. Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Oh, thank you.
Very well liked. There we go. Kazza wins the hat. Beckendale. If you Googled it, I will slap your backside when I see you.
Yeah.
But I'll never be able to prove it, so never mind. But yeah.
Have you just seen Lisa's comment? That's lovely.
When my husband is away overnight or late into the evenings, his father, who's in spirit, often checks in to see that I'm okay. He is always welcome, acknowledged, and welcomed with love and light. Bless you, Lisa. Absolutely right. And this is the thing. If you just give some acknowledgement, I mean, we're human beings. That's all we really want sometimes. It's just a little bit of acknowledgement. And that doesn't change in the world of spirit. So the best advice I always give, keeping it simple, is if you hear something, notice something. All right, thank you very much. Now I'm trying to get to sleep. Come and see me in the morning if you're still about.
Yeah.
And it will ease. It does ease. 99% of the time. What do you win? I'll have a think about it and figure something out. But no, it is not a trip. to California. And there you go. Yes, Alison Rothery, Beckendale, absolutely. We've got a little bit off piste, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
I know they had to recall it from Emmerdale Farm because the new people bought the farm. They didn't want it to be in it any longer, but didn't know that it had another name. Every day is a school. It really, really is. It really, really is. And you know what? I jokingly said we've gone a little bit off piste. We really haven't. Because knowledge is strength. Knowledge is the first step to wisdom. And how we apply that knowledge, even if it is just for a bit of a giggle and a bit of a conversation changer, knowledge is something that spirit can make use of to help us convey their message more. If you do not know or understand a concept, you cannot share it from the world of spirit. You cannot recognize it, let alone give it to someone else. I'm reminded of the time that I first met. Here we go again. Hello. I'm reminded, of course, of the first time I met Joyce Gorbett, who said it takes years and years and years to learn to be a good medium. And I was about 18 or 19 at the time, and I, thought it was a pop at me. But actually, it's true. Mediumship in itself is the easy part. The communication from spirit is the easy part. The bit that takes time, the bit that takes practice, is the ability to communicate what you are being given, what you are being shown to someone else. Certainly when it comes to a concept or a feeling, and only by sharing knowledge, by having every day as a learning day, do you fill up your information bank so that spirit can make use of it. And the more you can understand these things, the more they'll be able to tell you.
Yeah. I just spotted something, Ben. I know Daniel's got a question, but it wasn't Daniel's question. Donna, I've got the link to book onto Sean's podcast. Donna is the wife of Sean, who does the podcast stuff, and was and he started one called Psychics and Sidekicks.
Wow.
And he's looking for people to go on, both people who are mediums and spiritually aware and those who aren't. And so I do have a link to book on, but yes, it would be fun to go on with Nick and have a good chat with Sean.
Is he ready for the both of us together though? Let's be
I doubt that very much, dear. I doubt that very much.
Yes, yeah.
But yes, if we can pop to Daniel's question as well.
Daniel's question, because I did bookmark that. Could I ask a silly question? Could a person's energy be around their ashes after death? And I want to be left and want to be left in a certain place around the house, even though in life they wanted to be scattered somewhere else. Tony, your views.
I would say that it is possible for a person's energy to be around their ashes, but only if they choose it, because they can be anywhere, and they are more than likely not going to be around their ashes. They're probably going to be around their loved ones, and if you happen to be where their ashes are, then yes. And in my experience, Daniel, people have had their ashes scattered, and what you get back from them is they're not really that fussed where they are,
Yeah.
They're not there, they're not with their ashes. But for the family's sake, it probably means they would like to respect the wishes of their loved one and scatter them where they expressed that they wanted to be. There's a postscript to that. The wife doesn't know whether to do as he wanted before his passing, or as we have now been advised, he wants where he wants to go now. Why don't you split them? Because they don't mind being split.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, I have a story about split ashes as well, Nick. A message that I was giving, and it was very, very strange. But yeah, that for me, that's what I would do. If you've been told if he said he wanted to be, I don't know, up in the Highlands of Scotland, and you've been told by a medium or whoever that he actually now wants to be put in a wardrobe, takes them up and puts them down.
Postscript.
Oh yes, I've just seen that.
The wife's dad's in our living room cupboard. He was told by a white witch he wants to be under the TV so he can be watching us. Good idea to be splitting. Yeah, you know what? That sounds about right. that sounds exactly. That sounds exactly like what comments would get. And I want to hear that story. What I will just briefly say before I forget is while I was doing Circle this afternoon, I noted something down and I didn't know why because it wasn't really pertinent to the conversation. Energy, feeling, psychometrically inputting of emotions and emotional memory. Psychometry. And this is about the ashes.
Yeah.
This ring used to belong to my mother. She gave it to me and I now use it. For a very long time, if someone were to read it psychometrically, they would pick up something of me and something of her. As more time passes, it becomes more of me and less of her. But there'll always be an element of her time wearing it within that ring. And the same applies to any object where you make use of it psychometric, so reading it with psychometry. You can get no greater connection to physical substance to read psychometrically than the remains of an individual. Their energy will, of course, be part of that ashes. So they will, at the very least, be drawn to it. If they were a very earthbound person, they would certainly take an interest in where it is. Someone like me or Tony, quite frankly, wouldn't give a what's it. You know, I said that I want to be cremated. I want the ashes mixed with coloured gunpowder, put in a firework and exploded above the village of Littleport in a rainstorm so I can come down on everybody around me. But that's just me. Bit sick and deranged probably, but I don't really care what happens to my earthly remains. I won't be needing it. I won't be interested in it. But some people are. Some people are. And, you know, Tony's solution of splitting the ashes, segueing nicely back into your story, splitting the ashes can be a great way of settling disagreements and disopinions, differences of opinion within a family. But also it's a good way of maintaining the original wishes, but also following the and also following the wishes of the advice given, because he is a nosy old what's it. He still is, and he would want to be watching you because it's his version of Gogglebox, watching you two watch the telly, and I'm sure he probably liked that too. So he can carry on with his Goggleboxing. But you were going to tell a story about splitting ashes, Tony.
Yeah. I had a lovely connection with this gorgeous lady, and talking to daughter and granddaughter, and then I got the strangest sensation, like I was cut down the middle and being pulled in half. And I thought, what on earth are you trying to tell me? So I said, I'll just give exactly what I've got. It may make sense to you. I feel like I've been split in two and I've been separated. And they said, oh, yeah, because somebody in the family up north wanted some of Mum's ashes and we've got some here. So we weighed her out and split. really is the strangest sensation I've ever had in my life. I really felt like I was being pulled into, like Guy Fawkes.
Yeah,
Really strange.
absolutely.
I've
See the
never.
irony of that analogy?
Yeah. And then we can do that, Nick. We are.
Yes, I did see Lisa. We can do that as we're qualified pyros. Well, if you're still around after me, which is highly likely, yes, you can. I give you my permission to explode me over the village of Littleport. Yes, absolutely. And yes, Tim, I have ironed the t-shirt, by the way. If you go back in time, some of the great mediums, for example, Gordon Higginson, Albert Best, Glyn Edwards, they all started the sitting through psychometry. And it is a really good way of kicking it off. And, even for myself, I do when I'm developing people for the platform and helping them to develop ready for the platform, I do say, if you get stuck, I know it's no longer the law. But I just think it's good practice for the benefit of how people perceive it. When we had the Fraudulent Mediums Act, there was a condition in it that if someone was reading psychically off of psychometry, when you feel the link build up from spirit and switch to the actual spirit message, you must put the item down. I think that helps for people to see that this be psychic, now I'm going to spirit. And I think, even though it's no longer a legal requirement, I think it's brilliant. And I still use that because you're creating that separation. And yeah, lots of people, I was taught that way. My guide teaches me to use it. If I'm having a rough day and really, really struggling, I'll say, have you got an item that I'd like to start with? And I knew a lovely medium called Dorothy Bradley, the first medium I ever went to. Very much responsible. I've pinned you, Jen. I haven't forgotten. I've pinned you. I certainly. So what was it? Oh yeah. Dorothy Bradley was the first medium I ever went to. She would use a photo and make the link with the individual that way. I'm getting in trouble from Jen. You can confirm to me, Tony, can you not? I starred her, so I didn't miss it.
Yep, it is there.
Because there it is. But can he not watch them anyway without the ashes? And that's in relation to, yes, of course he can. It's what I find when they're doing and saying stuff like that. It's a way of showing their humor, showing that they're still around, referencing that they're aware that you're fretting over a lump of ash that used to belong to them. And it's just a way of communicating the message. So do they really care? Absolutely not. Certainly if they were slightly more prideful, they might have an interest what happens to it, but it's not like they need it, and it's not like they're grounded to it. But if you look at the psychometric principle of what was it that I wrote down there? I know I had to write it down for a reason. Energy, feeling, and the psychometric inputting of emotional memory, then they would be at least drawn to it. It's like a magpie drawn to something shiny. Yes. So that's what I mean by that, Jen. So I hope that answers your question, darling. A lot of love for psychometry in the comments, actually.
I love psychometry. And I love photo readings as well. I really love photo reading.
Yeah, I do, to be fair. My understanding is as long as you verbalize clearly to your client how you're working, you are absolutely, especially with the change in the law. But it was best practice with the Fraudulent Mediums Act. So and I believe I read a couple of weeks ago, because I was actually rereading because I'm a bit sad. Occasionally I'll reread the wording. There was, in actual fact, I think it was, in relation to a question that when Tim asked a question a few weeks back about the Fraudulent Mediums Act, it inspired me to go and have another read of it. Because I like to double check things, after the fact. Not that it will make much difference after the fact, but I like to, refresh my memory of these things. And I'm pretty sure that in the old one, it was physically put it down. Now, so long as you're quite right, so long as you clearly verbalize what it is you're doing legally, but also morally. If people are coming to you for a reading from spirit and you just sit there reading their navel all day, it's actually taking the mick anyway. I think it's important. I used to have a real big beef about psychic versus spirit. I don't anymore. But so long as we are clear about what we're doing, I think that's all that really matters, because it's about making sure people understand what it is we're doing. If in some way we're trying to educate people in this way of life to grow the next generation of mediums to be better, then I think it's important that we specify, because there are some people that might be drawn to doing psychic work. There might be some that are drawn to doing mediumship work, even though they have the ability to do both. And if you don't identify which one's which, then they're not going to know and not going to be able to explore their own facets, their own abilities, their own gifts.
Well, exactly.
And they are indeed both beautiful crafts and very, very useful. So, do you know what my favourite one? If I get stuck and I'm having a bad day, I'll actually read the wood on the laminate flooring of the hall in which I'm working. I'll look and see if they can show me anything in the woodwork. Depending on how old the building, I might talk about woodworm. But no, they both have great validity and great usefulness. Once again, as we've all kind of said, so long as you clarify which is which. Yeah, Mum, actually, good point. When I'm gone, I want mine and Francis' ashes mixed together and scattered. Nick won't want me in his living room. Well, at least you won't be throwing cans of Coke all over the place.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Pam Duffy's just logged on and said, "Hi, may lose you as I'm in Turkey."
Wow, hello to Turkey and hello to Pam, of course. Good to see you.
I spotted a start question. Tim.
Yes. Tim. I'm looking forward to your answer. Tim says, and can I ask, where is the most unusual place that you have demonstrated your mediumship? I demonstrated in the middle of a park on a bandstand once, and I was getting some strange looks from people walking past walking dogs. Brilliant question. And it does follow the line of, we have been very light-hearted and very upbeat today. And I think that's good sometimes, to be fair, but
it is
really, really, really good question. Tony.
Behind a tent at Chesterfield Pride.
Wow.
Yep, because we were selling T-shirts, and we had a sign up saying that it was raising money for the Rainbow Project, and we were just asking what else we do for fundraising. Some people were asking, and I said, "Oh, I sometimes do one-to-one readings and donate the money to Rainbow Project readings." "What do you mean?" "Well, I'm a spiritual medium." "Oh my God, can we have a reading?" So yeah, we went behind the tent, and I put a chair out and demonstrated behind a tent in Chesterfield Pride.
Wow.
Nick?
Well, I've just got a reference that poor old Kaz has been banned from Facebook, but she is back in the house, in the tube house.
Oh, what have you done?
I dread to think. Yes, it is. It follows a theme. Cherry's guide was in a very positive mood today in Circle. Usually someone who's a little bit more formal, a little bit more serious, but was very light-hearted today. Joni says, and the reason I'm sharing this is because it ties in with me a little bit. Mine was in a grocery store while standing in line. It's quite an unusual place, but for me, it wasn't that unusual because I used to work in retail and I was giving messages out on the shop floor, left, right, and centre. I can say that now because I don't work for them anymore. You know, the amount of people that were getting guidance and advice from Spirit whilst getting their change, or filling up their fuel. And in actual fact, one time there was a lady having a heart attack in the car park. And we were chatting away, and I was with her, keeping an eye on her. She was blind, and I was talking to her and trying to calm her down because we were waiting for the ambulance to come, and she was having these palpitations and blah 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 blah. And I said, I don't normally do this, but I've got to say, you have a great energy about you, and I'm sure you're going to be okay. And she was blind, but she literally turned her head and looked at me and said, and who's saying that, you or your guide? And I said, excuse me? She says, the bloke in the suit stood behind you that told you to say it. Yes, I'm a medium as well. And, you know, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But I had experiences like that so many times. So although it is an unusual location, I do agree. For me, it was quite normal. I think for me, the strangest place I've ever given a message was standing on top of a volcano.
Okay.
Mount Vesuvius, to be precise.
Lovely.
It was quite funny, really, because Nigel's got a thing about heights, my other half, and I wanted to go up a little bit further, and so I was talking randomly to this individual. I didn't go all the way up. I went back down to stay with Nigel because I was starting to get a little bit air thin, and we were walking up the side of Vesuvius, and I was talking to this lady, and even though it was in Italy, and this is how small the world really is, and it was a fair while ago, she says, I know you from somewhere. Well, you're definitely not from around here. You sound more like you're from where I come from. She said, where's that? I said, oh, I'm in Cambridgeshire, on the Norfolk and Cambridgeshire border. She went, do you normally wear a dog collar?
That'll be a yes then.
Oh, that was a yes. So we were talking, and I gave her a little bit of a mini message, and it was on the side of Vesuvius, for crying out loud.
Oh,
so that was I think it will be a long time before I actually top that one, if you'll pardon me. You know what, Tim? I'm actually with you.
Yeah.
He was asked to demonstrate the awake once, which you declined. I agree. I've done enough memorial services to know how many people actually want awake message, but I just there's a time and a place, and a memorial service and the wake thereafter is about celebrating the life and dealing with your own emotions, and wanting to have a message at that particular time can be a little bit counterproductive to the purpose of that function. So I actually agree with you on that one.
I would as well. Julie Caswell, I joke that the florist I work in is my pulpit. Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Kazza got banned because it was after Nick's comment about he wanted his ashes everywhere. I just said that he could have a ruppet up his bahookie. She got banned for saying that. Come on. I've seen far worse than that on Facebook.
Definitely. So have I. Oh dear me.
There we go.
We've definitely had a light-hearted one today.
We certainly have, and I know there are a number of mediums on, so come on, a bit more. Where was your most weird moment? I know we've had a couple of comments so far, and we've bared our soul. and Tim has told us what he wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And Kaz has told everybody what she thinks I should have.
What? Yes. And Julie, it sounds like Julie gives messages from her in her florist.
Florists, absolutely. Yes. So, another thing that Julie and I have in common, of course, is that my first job was a florist. I was a Saturday boy in a greengrocers and florists. But that was a lifetime ago. Before I found spiritualism, so she's got me there. I didn't give any messages out there. I have given tarot card readings to the managing director of a petrol station company which I used to work for, an independent one, not the big chain. I've given her tarot card readings in the cash office on a Friday afternoon during the busy period. She comes to church now, so so she's not going to tell me off for sharing that one.
Oh, interesting.
In the aisle of B&Q, I was collared by someone who'd seen me at church. Brilliant. You can do it when you B&Q it.
Definitely.
Bless you. But no, it really has been a light-hearted one today, and I just think it's been brilliant. So thank you all so very much for just sharing the craziness. Even though it's been light-hearted, I think we've covered some pretty serious stuff, but in a light-hearted way. The strangest place was in a theatre. Now the question, Lisa, was that a show theatre or an operating theatre? That's the question.
Oh yeah.
Eunice Spinks, I give them when I get them, wherever I am. Yes. I was wondering if you were going to comment, actually, because I know that's how you work, Eunice. So, when and wherever required. Julie Caswell, my dad gave healing to his doctor when my dad was having an appointment. Brilliant. Brilliant. Physician, heal thyself. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Steve's not had any strange places yet. We ain't lost chance yet, though.
No.
It was a show theatre.
In the doctor's surgery to the nurse taking my blood. Joanne, that is brave.
Here's some B rhesus negative. And did you know that your uncle stood right behind you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
To the hospital with my friend. Wow.
Wow. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
There is a really serious and important message in all of this conversation. And I thanked him for kicking it off with a really light-hearted question like, where's your weirdest place? We started with me going on a rant about how certain ways of life can take things far too seriously. And I think the fact that we as spiritualists are able to be light-hearted about where it is that we do our work, and the fact that it can be anywhere and everywhere so long as the time is required. I think it shows a great deal of hope for the future, that we don't take ourselves too seriously, that we can have a laugh and a giggle about, oh, you're a medium, I thought you were an extra large, or you're walking through the village hall one night and you slip on your backside and someone says, well, you didn't see that one coming, did you? And all that kind of stuff. The fact that we can laugh about such things and have a giggle about the weirdest place we've given a message shows that there is hope for the future, that we do not take ourselves too seriously, and that we can look at ourselves and laugh. And of course, when it comes to healing, laughter is one of the greatest healing gifts. For anyone that's coming to the workshop on Saturday, remember that statement with eagle intent. I say no more than that. I've got a workshop on Sunday called Heal Thyself. And I just made a comment about laughter being a form of healing. but I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to spoil it. But we will maybe talk about it next week if it comes up. But Tony, it's 5:15 again, mate.
It is. Time just flies away from us when we're doing these chats. It really does. I just want to repeat what we said last week about if anybody wants to come on live in the last half hour of one of our shows and join in the conversation live with us on screen, drop us a message and either Nick or myself, or drop something into Facebook.com.
Here we go. There we go.
There it is.
There it is. Hey! Absolutely.
Drop a message into there and we will randomly pick somebody to come on screen with us.
We have already been approached, and we have arranged a date in advance with someone who's going to come and share the screen with us for a whole show, actually, because I think we need to. And you know him very well on this show because he's a regular. So we are looking forward in October to welcoming Tim Abbott to the screen to join us.
Yes.
That is going to be a real fun. It feels like a lifetime since I actually stood in the same room with Tim. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Tim again.
We have a volunteer.
Oh, hang on. I am way behind because I was on the banner page. Me. Oh, go on then. We'll book you in.
We'll book you in, Kazza, yes.
We'll book. Yeah, you can't. Speaking of his self, I know Libby Clark was in the American embassy, applied for a visa to go to work in America. Initially, she was declined, then went to give a message to the lady in the embassy from her grandmother in spirit, after which the lady in the embassy issued her with the visa. Wow.
I am all right, Linda. I am all right. I'm just, life. Your mum's asked if I'm okay.
Yeah,
Just
I'll bring it up.
Yeah. And Lisa Checkley, I'll do it.
I mean, so, I'd love to have you on. Absolutely. So we will make a list and check it twice, find out who's been naughty or nice, and get you on regardless.
Absolutely. Maybe not the nice ones. We want the naughty ones on.
Well, yeah. Well, we've definitely got two there.
Yeah. Oh, and
Christine's put her name down as well. So we're gonna get a few weeks out of this one, I tell you. So
we are. Yeah.
So excellent. Well, Tony, as ever, an absolute pleasure. I will just do one last little bit of shameless plugging. If anybody wants to buy a Two Revs, the Spiritline t-shirt, go to www.suffolkinsigniadirect.co.uk/spirits-line. Very good quality product, and you can,
they are amazing.
They are gorgeous and fun.
Yep. Also, I know it's already been plugged once in this show, but I have listened to the aforementioned meditation disc that himself has done. It's really good. So yes, anybody who's wanting to just get into that mindset, chill down, it's absolutely wonderful. And I also know that we do workshops as well. We do,
yes. In actual fact, one of our newest viewers, Julie Caswell, we met through one of the online workshops, and I am going to be doing a workshop and a debate monthly. I'm aware, Kazza, I've been screaming at the post office to get me insurance money back. I've lost 3 so far. So I'm working on it. And I'm going to not be using the post office anymore either. But that's besides the point. But you can download them as well if you've got Amazon Music. Amazon Music, Spotify, Deezer, or YouTube Music account. You can get them free as part of your subscription, but they're also available on general YouTube free as well. I get like a 0.000 penny per stream or something daft like that. So the more people play them, the better for me. And it doesn't cost you anything other than, you know, if you've got a subscription, but you don't have to have one of them either. So yeah, they are good fun, and they do keep me in, you know, Pepsi Max and puffs.
Really good, really good.
Bless you, thank you.
Over the next couple of weeks, we will be recording the first of our podcast. We're going to start with
yes, absolutely. You know what they say about while the cat's away, the mice can play. Well, my crazy cat Nigel's going to be on a caravanning tour around the universe with his other half. So we will have some free time, and I can do what I want when I want. So we will get those recorded for you too.
Yeah, which will be amazing. And yes, Donna, we will get in touch with Sean and set something up as well. Yeah. We will. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us again. It's been absolutely brilliant. We've had a blast as always.
Absolutely. And Joanne, I know that you're on the list too because I've checked your receipts, so I haven't forgotten you either. There are 3 of you on here that have been shrifted by that wonderful, wonderful system. I will find a way. Tea's ready, Tony. Yeah.
Michael's making vinaigrette dressing.
Oh, lovely. I've got to go and cook tea now. So we shall see everyone throughout the week. If we don't see you in the week, we'll see you over the fence, as they say. But Tony, as always, thank you for a great afternoon, mate. And thank you all.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. See you all later.
God bless. May the peace of the spirit go with you all. But for now, it's goodbye from him.
And it's good night. Goodbye from him. Him is that way. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.